welcome. Today we have Henry Tano, who is a good friend and colleague of mine. Henry, why don't you start by introducing yourself and some of your background?
Hi, Henry Tano here. I'm a head of product currently with a Singapore fintech company. Been doing product for many years, and have seen like different companies deal with business and product. So yeah, I guess that's my background.
Awesome, cool. Okay, so today we are talking about this topic of navigating vision versus reality. But of course, we can veer wherever the wherever the topic seems to lead. So I guess maybe just to get us started, it sounds like you feel like there's some kind of tension between vision and reality, especially from the experiences and encounters that you have had in your career, right?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, when you first coined this subject, I had the perspective that company has a vision and then reality sets in, and then there's a tension between fulfilling that vision and reality. But as I prepare for this and I think more about company's vision, like the problem is not yet even talking about the tension, but even the vision itself, right? Like I was looking at, I was using ChatGPT to generate, or not generate, to like research on some of the visions of company. Because one of your prep question was like one vision that like inspired me or something. Then I'm like, actually there isn't any, because most of the company's vision are not even vision from my point of view. Of course, yeah, you could be wrong, right? Yeah, it's like I could find one that is really inspiring, and in some sense they are not even vision if you want to be very strict, right? Because many companies come up with mission, vision, values as per what consultants advise or like document, or like academic document advice, right? In the end, I feel that most of them are quite forceful. It's done also just to fulfill some regulatory kind of requirement rather than a truly like vision. Yeah. So because of that, I did a bit of research. Not a lot, but I realized that actually maybe there isn't any company that truly have a good documented vision, and all the vision statements that company have are concise into one sentence. And actually vision may not be able to be concise into one statement well, right? Because it's really what your company see a future of, right? Yeah. So you can't really concise it into one statement. Some try, some are more inspiring than others. You can take the documented statement and then their reality, it is definitely not going to work, because in the first place, the documented vision statements are not even quote unquote real vision that the company actually has. So what do you think is a vision? Maybe we should talk about that first.
What do I think is a vision?
Yeah.
Because the concept of purpose and meaning is very essential in most organizations, right?
Yes.
You need a means of which to communicate that purpose, right? And the vision is an attempt at articulating why what we do is very important and where we are in perspective of the journey.
Yeah. So in that sense, we are not that particular about vision and vision statement, right? But we are more talking about the purpose of the company, right? The why you exist, right? So a vision is one element to describe that. But then the question is, if you fail to describe that, does that make you a purposeless company? Means that if you're gonna describe your vision well, does it mean that makes you a purposeless company? Maybe that's not true, right? Maybe you can be a purposeful company even without a very clear vision. So far, the best vision description that I have seen is not even real. It's not from a real life company. It's actually from a movie, a very old movie. I don't even remember the title of the movie, but it's by this old actor called Michael J. Fox.
Okay.
Yeah, so in this movie, he was a concierge or a bellboy in a hotel, and very enthusiastic, very hardworking, very money-minded. But the reason why he did all this is because he had a vision to build a hotel. And in in the middle of the movie when he shared this with this lady. Let me describe the scene, right? Then it give more context. So there's this old abandoned building, and then he actually had this wooden plank which he created as a stand. So he put the wooden plank there, and then he actually take okay, this is in the 80s, so there is no AR anything yet. So he take a piece of glass with coloring and all this, and then he place it over, and from there you could see his vision of the hotel, physical visually, right? Wow, very nice hotel, like layover. This is like before AR, lay over an existing abandoned building, and then after that, then he described to the lady the experience a customer will walk in when they walk in, the experience that he has of the hotel, right? Like, oh, walk in, you feel like a king. I mean, I tell you, he described it in a very visual way, and that was the best description of a vision that I have. Means that he has a visual image of what the hotel should be. For him, it's very specific, right? It's that physical location and all this, but his description of the experience to me is like, wow, that is what a vision is, right? I can see this. I want to see a world like that, right? So then, but it couldn't be described in one sentence, right? Or maybe some consultant, or now with ChatGPT, you just pump in all this and you say, what's my one-liner vision? Maybe can, right? But to me, a vision has to be a description of a future that is not yet, right? So I see a world, or the famous one, right? Martin King Jr., like, yeah, I have a dream. So then, yeah. So to me, actually, a, a vision should be like that, right? So then I did a bit of a research on like the visions of the top X company, Singapore, different company. Then I realized, actually most of the vision is not like that. Actually, a lot of the visions are very self-serving, right? To be a premier, to be a most sought after. It's very self-serving, right? It's about me. It's about my company, right? So
Mm,
it doesn't describe the world, like how I envision the world, right? Of course, there are some, right? Like to see like no poverty, right? To see no children
mm,
go to hungry. But those companies' vision, I think for some people will sound very will sound very airy fairy, lah. But then again,
yeah.
maybe vision is meant to be airy fairy because it's a future, right? That you that the entrepreneur or the company see. Yeah. So
Mm,
yeah, so I think that it comes back to, yeah, if you don't have such a vision, does that make your company purposeless? I mean, I think that's the key question, right? It's not, I think many companies succeeded without a true vision,
mm,
uh, in my opinion. Yeah,
yeah.
because I think there's an objective, like what's a good vision. But in my opinion, if vision is something that you can close your eyes and imagine and see a future, not many company may have that, or at least they don't document that, right? So, then that is not a criteria of success. Like if success just means more money, right? Like financial, like, yeah, that table
Okay.
or what, yeah. But if
So
we say
clearly
that,
you don't. Okay, but do you see like vision maybe as a tool? So it doesn't mean like if you don't have this tool, you cannot succeed, right? But if you have this tool, it's just another tool that you can use to paint a picture. Like say, technically
fair,
you could start a hotel without the vision, right? But then having that vision, you communicate to the team what are they trying to achieve, right?
I think it
You
depends
understand?
what you success of, right? So, there are many companies that financially very successful, right?
Mm,
Like employing people, right? I mean, just have to pay them more, right? I mean, okay, you may get the wrong people, but you pay them more, you get talent, then you can still succeed in some way, right? So sometimes some company, they, let's say, if you say, oh, success in is fundraising, then if I can pay a lot more, or I promise a lot more, like materially, don't even talk about purpose, vision, and all this, I can gather a group of people who are just there, mercenaries. We always, I mean, people like you and me always say that, oh, we don't want mercenaries, but actually it works also, right? I hire mercenaries, I pay them a lot more. Then I show investors that, you see, I hired the top talent from all this big company. Then give me your 20 million, then I got 20 million. Is that successful? In some sense, it is, right? So what is success? If success just means getting more money from investors, There are many ways. You don't need a mission. You can bullshit out a mission vision as long as you just give the investors what they want to hear, and then they'll give you money. So is it true? Doesn't matter. Yeah. So in a sense,
Mm.
depends what you mean by success.
Okay. So I think, but the other part that seems to be arising is the topic of reality, because the topic is about vision and reality, right? And then you're saying that, oh, is it true? Does it matter, right? So does the reality of things actually matter? Because you can paint a lofty vision, and then reality is that you're not there, and you can race to get there. But doesn't reality matter that if you never actually make efforts or you make progress towards getting closer to the vision, isn't there a reality check at some point of time?
I guess part of me feels that it matters a lot because a company's purpose that is not for the people, for the society, is not going to be successful. But on the other hand, many companies like ultimate goal is just to make money, a lot of money for their investors or their shareholders. And if every shareholders work together to make that happen, means that every shareholders that you have tries to maximize their return, then they may still end up to be successful in the short, medium run. I wish to say that in the long run they wouldn't, but I guess it's not. I mean, in reality, sometimes some company do become very successful, even though they are not the most like visionary slash meaningful company. Yeah. Sometimes reality is just cruel, right? Like, yeah, you can be the most purposeful company, but other things comes in like strategy, timing, all these coming, and it still fail lah. Yeah. So actually, some of the most inspiring vision actually comes from those company that is no longer in existence, right? So example, right? WeWorks. Actually, I feel WeWorks vision before they crash or before they failed was actually quite inspiring, right? They wanted to create, they wanted to make work different, right? I mean, we can fact check that later, right? But of
Yeah.
course, yeah, even Theranos, the vision from the show is actually actually quite inspiring, right? Imagine a world where people don't have to die unnecessarily, right? So to me, it's like wow, that's very inspiring. Or other companies that no longer exist are companies that was bought over, right? Like Instagram, WhatsApp, all these companies kind of bought over by bigger companies, but their original vision, I thought was like, wow, actually that's quite inspiring. Having said that, that to me is like, really, having a great vision is not all, right? Yeah. Uh, you could have a great vision, but you still fail because you cannot execute. Yeah.
Okay. So just to put in context some of the things that you mentioned. So like WeWork's original vision is create a world where people work to make a life, not just a living. Right. And then Theranos' vision is to make every person the steward of their own health. Right. So they're all like, wow, very
Right.
inspiring. Right. But what actually happened to these companies?
I mean that deserve you can you can go and read the
That
books on
deserves a whole
this.
episode in itself.
Yeah,
But
I mean
fundamentally,
because there are good
what
people who done that already. They failed not because of vision. They failed because of execution. I think that's why other things come in, right? You can have a great vision, but if your values are not there, I mean, of course there are many factors to it, but one of it, like Terranos, obviously they lied, right?
Mm,
I mean, one of the reasons is they lapse. I mean, you could argue that maybe they lie because they feel that their vision is worth the risk of lying. In that sense, you can have the best or lofty vision, but if other parts of a business is not there, you might still fail. I think failure, if let's say you try and then you fail, I think that's okay. But for companies like Theranos, it became more criminal, right? It wasn't just a failure of the company, but it was worse than that.
yeah. So
So in one sense, you can have the best vision, but it could actually, your downfall could be because of the vision, because you believe too much in that vision that you go all out to achieve it.
yeah. So having a vision is good. And having a vision isn't the fundamental problem. It's useful if you want to communicate meaning and purpose. But the checkpoint is that the vision is not the ends, right? So if it's just like if a child says, "Oh, I have a vision of having enough money to say raise my family, or having enough money to make sure that my mom live a good life." But because he realizes that it's hard to get there, and then because of that, he does some kind of con job so
Yeah.
that he can let his mom live a good life. In the end, the sin is still the sin, and there's still the consequences of sin, which is you still in the end have to come to terms with the fact that you cut a corner lah. When actually the vision should be spurring him on to do the right thing. Actually, the vision became a facade of an adverse justification for him to do the wrong thing lah.
Yeah, I think number one, the point I guess is not about having a vision. I guess it's still back to having a purpose for your company.
Mm,
Why do my company exist, right? Or why do I
yeah.
exist? I mean, if we talk about individual, I mean, a lot of these things I think is abstracted. As a human, what am I here for, right? What's my purpose in life? I guess if you can describe it in a vision, I
Mm-hmm.
think it helps. Yeah, you're right. It's a tool, right? It helps. You can have a very nice vision because nowadays you chat GPT, or you can get very poetic, have you describe the vision. But is that truly what you're existing for? Right. I mean,
Mm,
it's a very honest question that every individuals, every company, every entrepreneur need to ask ourselves, right? So sometimes the real reason is because I just want to earn a lot of money. I want to be a billionaire.
mm,
Sometimes could be I just want to feel significant. Do I truly want to start a company because of this mission, this vision to change the world, or I just want to be financially free and feel significant? Right? Means that, wow, I've make a difference. I think that comes back to individuals, lah, right? Why do you, because why do you create this company for? Why do you think this company exists for? And do you still believe in it? Sometimes our vision or our purpose change, right? Circumstances in life change, and then we feel, maybe that's not so important anymore. I think humans are a lot more complex than that. And it's not one or the other. It could be a lot. And then when you peel the onion, you realize that, actually, well, I still believe in what I want to do in the purpose mission, but yet the underlying, I just want to make a lot of money. And
mm,
as you famously always say, if you just want a lot of money, just go and do something else, lah, right? Sometimes easier to do something else, right? Go and borrow money and buy a few houses, lah.
yeah.
Flip them, yeah. Of course, I don't think it's always that straightforward. It's like, I want a lot of money and I want to feel significant. I want to go around telling people that I've changed the world. I guess the tension is, do you really believe in the so-called company purpose? And if you are a company, it's more complex because it's up to the entrepreneur, the founder, right? But having said that, is it truly like, the vision, mission, or the purpose of the company is the founders? I mean, again, from a organization point of view, we also think that it's not healthy if it's like the company equals to the founder, right? It's like, it's a shared vision. How do you have a shared vision? How do you have a shared purpose? You get everybody to agree. You get everybody to build on it. You get people to align in it. Yeah, there'll be some people in the company who are just there to make a, right? Does that mean that he shouldn't be part of the company? Yeah, I guess it becomes more complex when it comes to company. Then you have shareholders, then you have like employees, then you have customers. I think the ideal that we describe is that, actually everybody aligned to that purpose of the company, even shareholders. But I guess the reality is that most of the time shareholders just want to make money, lah, right? Right? Do they really care about your? I don't think sorry. I'm sure there are people who care. That's why you have to find the right. But okay, let me try this scenario, right? That's why I said that it's always easy to talk about it, but when you're doing it, imagine you're an entrepreneur, you want to raise money. The people that believe in what you're talking about don't have money. The people that don't really believe what I'm talking about may have money. Then do you just go with those people who have money? Because you need then you will just take money from those people who have money, but don't truly believe a mission or vision or purpose. Then when crunch time come, then they will come in and say, okay, I want returns, right? You haven't done this, you haven't done that. Oh, but that's not aligned to our purpose. Oh, I don't care. Yeah, you promised me 3 times, 4 times, 10 times return. Where's my return?
Mm.
Investors who probably truly believe in your mission or purpose would say, as long as you achieve that purpose, I don't care about my money. Yeah. Or I
Okay.
believe if you achieve, yeah, achieve that purpose, turns of my money is secondary. Yeah. But how many people can say that?
But let's say we transition this a bit, right? In a normal business, let's say we use an example of a bakery because it's more understandable. Usually you have a recipe, right?
Yeah.
So you have some kind of understanding that, okay, if I have this bread recipe and I know that I can buy flour at this price, and the people who are selling flour are happy to sell at this price. And then I also know that customers want to buy bread at this price, and the bread tastes good in this recipe with the sugar and the yeast, and you put it together, you bake it, it produces a loaf of bread, and the loaf of bread increases the value of the individual ingredients. And on top of that, you have to rent a shop. The the landlord wants to rent it at a certain price, they reserve a certain value, and then the bread is sold at a certain price and the customer is satisfied. And in order for you to execute this entire plan, the investor needs to say, okay, I'm going to put up $200,000 for you to try this out for 6 months, for example. So in that sense, it's not wrong if the shareholder then checks in with the entrepreneur to say, hey, isn't this my part of the bargain? My part of the bargain is I give you $200,000 and I should be expecting a return, right?
Nothing wrong for shareholders who wants a return, right? So using your example, let's build it up from this example. Does this entrepreneur have a vision or purpose of the bakery? Maybe vision is maybe too lofty, right? Let's say purpose is just I want to make good bread, or I want to test out my recipe, to make bread that I can sell for a profit.
I think more likely, let's say I do a bakery, right? A more lofty sounding vision would be, this neighborhood is maybe impoverished a little bit or a bit poorer, and then I want to be able to feed.
Usually, from the F&B entrepreneur I know of, the true purpose is just I need to get paid. I need to earn money, right? I need to earn money, right? The second, usually, okay, why do you set up this thing? Oh, first one is that, I need money, right? I need to earn a living, right? And I don't want to work in office, right? Then number two is that, I feel that people deserve better bread, right? All the bread,
Yeah, something like that, right? Yeah.
people deserve better bread. Then I have this idea that I can create a better bread, right? Or I feel that people need a better place, right? All the cafe now, very commercialized. I think people need a better place. Or I think this community need a place of gathering, right? Like, every
Yes.
morning, yes. Then you slowly build out a vision, right? That's why I say that. Does this entrepreneur, this company have a purpose? I guess if you talk to them like that, they will slowly review. Sometimes they may not even realize that, right? Oh yeah, I just want people to have healthier. I spoke to a food hawker entrepreneur before, and then his his vision, of course, this is distilled by the interviewer, already, right? Is that there isn't a affordable Mexican food.
Yeah.
And I want to do that, right? So then, wow, okay, that's very altruistic. Sorry, affordable, healthy Mexican food. So then he went about doing that. Yeah. Uh, the question would be, when he were to tell an investor this, when he raised fund. Okay, in this case, he didn't raise fund, right? Because hawker, they don't raise fund. But if you use the example, the bakery, now let's say I want to make healthy bread, right? Which itself, it's a good purpose, vision, also a good strategy, positioning, right?
Yeah.
Both, right? So it's not either or. So then when you're going to talk to the investor will say, oh yeah, a good idea. And then it depends, right? The investor will say, oh, this is a good money making idea. You're right. There's no healthy bread. I want to invest in that. But if the investors comes in thinking that because you promise returns because you're using healthy bread as a strategy, then if that strategy fail, would you okay, then this is where the entrepreneur and the investor, let's make it simple, one to one, right? Because usually it's more complex, multiple stakeholders. But in this case, would the investors say find other ways to make healthy stuff? Because our vision is giving healthy stuff. Or find other ways to make money. I don't care healthy or not. You can see the difference? Right. So if I truly believe, if you and me, I'm the investor, just an example, and then you are the entrepreneur, if we are truly aligned and your vision was originally make better things, right? Make healthier things. If this thing fail, which likely it will, yeah, it's a venture, right? Venture,
Yeah.
no guarantee of success. Then we will say, okay, well, I still believe in what you're doing. It's just a timing or it's just market condition. Find other ways to make healthy stuff, right? So you might shift from bread to yogurt to something, right?
But
Or
I think so. I'm going to purposely take the.
let me
Yeah.
talk again.
Okay.
I just want to make money. Your strategy of making healthy stuff failed. So find other ways to make money. Maybe make unhealthy bread because that will make more money,
Okay.
right? Because I just want to make money.
I'm going to play a little bit of the investor's point of view, right? Likely when the entrepreneur was pitching, he pitched a realistically viable business, right? So from the investor's point of view, it cannot be like, oh, I'm selling unicorns, right? It really has to make sense to the investor, at least superficially, right? And then what happens is that the investor will like, hey, you cannot give me the returns. The first question is that, do you do what you said you do?
Mm.
That usually will be, right? And then actually, no, actually, when you gave me $200,000, I didn't actually go and
Yeah,
do this
but
bread recipe.
there's nothing to do with the purpose lah. That's the execution, right? You didn't
Yes. So in the end, that's why reality falls short. So the investor will be like, hey, you never go and do this bread thing that you talk about, and then you put the money in crypto, for example. Right? It's like, what the heck, right?
No. That's no. But you can always okay. But then, having said that, you can always argue that that wasn't. I mean, that we do that. Okay, unless that's the total intent, right? Which is that I get your money and then I do something else. But to me, that's similar to rumors of like entrepreneurs who take money and then go and buy Lamborghini. Right? It's like investors, yeah. But to me, that's a failure in governance, right? That's a failure in governance. Is you an investor close to us, throw money, and then never even care how the company is being executed. Then to me, that's too bad, lah. Right? You fail to the failure in governance, right?
Yeah. That's why the shareholder will then basically be upset, lah, which is why we
Right.
also have the
But
cases.
I'm not talking about failure in execution. I'm talking about in this scenario, I'm talking about you truly making healthy bread because your vision say I want to serve healthy bread at an affordable rate. The failure could be that you failed. I mean, as in your assumption was wrong. You cannot make healthy bread at affordable rate. You must, because it's too
Yes.
expensive. Right? That's it, right? So to
Yes.
me, okay, that's a fair, right? Any startup make assumptions, then that failure
Then
is
as you do it, then you realize it's not practical,
to
feasible.
me, as if I were an investor and I invest in that mindset that okay, to me it's like, well, that's okay because you validated, you failed.
Mhm.
Then now let's find other ways, right? Maybe not. Maybe we twist. Okay, the vision. The vision. I feel that vision can be malleable, right? Means that you can
Yeah.
twist your vision like that, but your intent is not. Your intent may not sway away, right? So, example, if let's say back to the example, right? Since you fail in making affordable healthy bread, is there any affordable healthy something that you can do? Right? Maybe
Mm.
you can make affordable healthy yogurt, right? Or we say let's refine the word affordable. Okay, at the start we cannot serve $1 sourdough, let's say, right? Loaf of sourdough because most is already $3. And we assume that we can find cheaper ingredient, but we couldn't, right? Or maybe you're not a scale yet. So you refine it, but then we will continue to focus on, so what is the focus? The focus is on affordable, healthy, or healthy, right? Maybe not affordable, right? Or affordable, right? But you can define what is healthy, right? Because all these things I think are still subjective terms, right? What is healthy, what is affordable? There's no precise, like, you can change your rubric, right, of describing what they are. So if I were that kind of investor, I'll probably say, and I'm very more involved, yeah, then I'll say, hey, let's look at other ways you can still achieve the vision. Let's twist the vision of it. Okay. Like,
Keep that a bit, right? Are we substituting the word vision for and actually meaning goals? Because if I understand correctly, vision doesn't change that frequently, right? But goals can, right? Goals can be like, oh, we did it for 2 months, doesn't work, change the goal, right?
yeah, wait, I that's why, okay, good question. That's why it makes me wonder. Again, this one is a genuine question, right? Like, I don't have a conclusion or a statement on that, right? So your vision cannot be too strict and too hard at the beginning, because you don't know what you don't know, right? So if you so strict, then I guess your vision is very up for change, lah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
It's
then
more
if
like a goal, lah, right? Than a vision. lah.
yes, yeah, a vision, again, okay, yeah, you're right. In that sense, I'm no longer talking about vision. I'm not talking about just purpose of the company, right? Our purpose is
Yeah.
to make healthy stuff, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think at the beginning, it can really be that vague, lah. It's just to make
We'll
healthy
be
stuff.
probably do something like better food for all, right?
Yeah.
Or
At the start,
everybody having access to healthy food kind of
wait,
vision, right?
at the start, unless no choice that you have to come up with this kind of bullshit story. If not, you just tell it as it is, lah. Yeah, I just feel that we can make healthy stuff. I don't know what it is yet. We're just trying with breakfast.
Yeah.
But if you want to start, like, do branding and all this very early, then you're forced to make that kind of statement. And I literally mean force, right? And I don't have another solution. That's why we always joke that if I were to run company, I would probably fail by being too precise or too in the beginning, right? Yeah, like, I don't know, right? I really don't know what's the vision yet, right? I just think that we should make healthy stuff, right? And then because of that, you have to believe in me, lah, not in the healthy stuff, lah, because yeah, we haven't defined what is healthy stuff, right? It's fair for you, whether you're an investor or an early employee, to question what is healthy stuff. We can have a rough idea what's healthy stuff, but precisely we don't know, right? And yeah, what is healthy, right? Mental health is also healthy these days, right? Like, yeah, we always say healthy, like, must be physical, but it could be mental health, lah, right? We serve a bit of unhealthy stuff, but make you feel very shook. Maybe they help, right? Yeah, maybe some people who are too healthy from a physical point of view become very miserable, right? We realize that, hey, actually the community need a running club and need a slow running club, because all the running club are led by marathon people, but maybe they just need uh uh not so strong will and overweight Henry to lead the running, because yeah, they can never be worse than us, right? So they feel shook that, oh, they get to run. Then maybe we do that. Then yeah, then your purpose is just, we want the community to be healthy. So bread was our first stake. Then we changed. That's why in some sense, when I look at more corporate or organizational or group vision, they tend to be a lot more lofty, because the execution of different business unit might be like, for example, customer obsession, right? Bring joy to the user. It's have to be that vague, because the application arm would have their version of what that means. The service arm will have a version of what that means. Yeah. So I guess the earlier you try to pinpoint on a vision, I think is trapping yourself. Unless the entrepreneur really have a God-given vision that, yeah, we will not change, right? Then go ahead and execute, and let's see, yeah, what time can tell. But I feel that, yeah.
Do you
Go
think
ahead.
a vision is different from a motto?
Oh yes, I think so. Yeah, that's why I feel
So
that
if,
we
yeah,
mix up all these, right? We mix up goal, vision statement. Okay, vision also got vision statement and the vision. Right? I say the best vision I've seen or heard is actually Michael J. Fox description of the new hotel. It wasn't one statement. It wasn't, oh, I want to create a family-oriented hotel, right? I mean, maybe you can concise it, but you'll be lacking the element when he described. Yeah, so that one is a
yes,
rich thing, right? But then you try to concise in one statement, then we say, okay, never mind. And then consultant tell you that it cannot be more than 10 words. I mean, you put in all these constraints, then you think that the vision statement is all is like all like representing everything, but actually not, right? You describe the vision, and then as new people join, that vision might change a bit, might get refined a bit. That's why I feel that vision is malleable. Motto is just whatever is trendy then, lah, right? Like, yeah, I think motto change also, right? Can change also, and yeah, and these days motto can become meme, and then when it become meme, doesn't mean it's a bad thing because yeah, now everybody talk about it, right? Like yeah, like just do it. People joke about it. And then now Nike also changed already, right? Yeah, I think motto is really just a rally cry of that moment, maybe. Yeah, I agree. But it's different. You're right, it's different. I guess it comes back, right? I think the most important thing is there a purpose for the company? You may not
Mm.
be able to describe it in one sentence, but at least the founder slash later on founding team, then as more people come in, they can actually describe why we exist.
Yeah.
And they're all aligned, right? May not be exact word, but aligned, right? Oh, this company exists to do X or to be X, right? Maybe not to do just to do, but to be X. And then after that, then you have then your goals and then your vision. Yeah. And I think when we focus too much on the vision statement, that's where we're trapping ourselves. Yeah. Because a vision statement cannot capture everything.
I want to throw one more concept that I picked up over the weekend, and then I wonder if it's tangential or is linked to this conversation about vision and reality, right? One of the things that I picked up over the weekend is this concept of alpha leadership and omega leadership. So alpha leadership is like the institutional authority type of leadership. If I use the Jesus time, that will be the high priest lah. That will be the alpha lah, right? But then the omega type leadership will be the rebel of the season, right? So some people function very much in rebel mode, right? Where in that time, Jesus was actually more like the Omega leadership. Or John the Baptist will be very clear Omega leadership. He's going against the norm. He's going against what was the established structures of power. In fact, he may not even be interested in influencing down the standard halls of power, but he has influence in the people lah, anyway lah, right? And the alpha leadership actually is concerned about what the omega leadership is doing. That's why actually they did arrest John the Baptist lah, right? And they did behead him ultimately, but even the alpha leadership was concerned about killing him lah. That's why they did. Herod did not kill him on the first go lah, right? It's only after being triggered that he killed lah. So do you think that maybe tools like a vision, right, is closer to something that an alpha leadership would do to lay the foundations of an institution, while an omega leadership will tend to be like, why do we even need that? We can just bottom up. Everybody just follow the Holy Spirit or follow what you believe God is calling you to do or your own purpose to get to where it is ultimately.
I, I, I I don't think it's that clear cut because okay, wait, if you describe if what you mean is the more structured like vision value, like the structure, right? Or like must have vision statement. The vision statement cannot be more than 12 words. Then maybe, yeah, because again, it's natural and organic, right? The
Yeah,
bigger the alpha, okay, to me, that's the more, okay, let's call that establishment, right? The
yeah,
establishment has more resources, more stability to come up with this kind of thing, right? Engage
yeah,
consultant, right? And they are already established. So therefore, they are just protecting lah. They are more on the defending ground, right? And then of course yes, the omega one or the anti-establishment one, they probably won't have the resources to come out with like a vision statement, blah blah blah. But I feel that if we're talking about purpose, I think the omega side might have stronger purpose, right? We see that the world today is established in XYZ, but no, we think that we need ABC, right? So as an example, using your example, right? Like, the world, I mean, the Jesus time example, the world is established in following the law, right? Because the Pharisees,
Yeah.
the temple, and all this. But the rebels, like even Jesus, actually have a different way, see a
Yes.
different way the world should exist, right? You should love God, right? You should love God with the law, not the law serve. Yeah, you. Sorry, the law should serve you, not you serve the law. That kind of thing. Uh, and because of that, they become anti-establishment, but they have a purpose, right? Jesus' purpose is that he wants to liberate people from sin, right? Just and because Jesus is God, therefore that purpose is the real purpose, lah. Then the
Yeah.
establishment got it wrong, right? I think every rebel would feel this way, whether your cause is true or not, right? Even if, yeah, like some of the worst rebel, their cause could just, I want to elevate people from poverty, or I want to elevate myself from poverty, right? I think that the Omega kind also will have a purpose, just that their purpose may not be nicely structured into your mission, vision, and then vision statement, whatever. They could be more, in a way, organic or ground up, right? And but because they have a purpose, if their purpose is clear, may not be very well articulated, like like grammar free rather, but people people align to it, right? So then people
Mm.
would join, yeah. And actually, for Omega, probably need a lot more. Your purpose need to be a lot stronger because you don't have what the establishment have, right? You can't. Okay, now we shift to today's context. If you are a startup, right, you can't afford to pay people like the big company can. So then you have to rally people from other ways, right? Could be purpose, could be
Impact.
other, yeah.
Yeah.
So in that sense, I feel that purpose is even needed, more needed, because how do you attract people to not work for the big company? You need to attract them.
Mm.
Yeah, and you need them to work even harder than if they are in a big company. Yeah. So then how do you rally them? What is that purpose, right? Is it a vision? I feel that vision is part of it, but it still come back to a purpose. And this purpose can sometimes be really just, I want to establish a company that everybody will enjoy each other's company, right? And then for a employee who working for a big company, you might be earning 2 times the salary, but you really feel very miserable because you feel that every day is transactional. But then suddenly I now have option for you to join my company where you will feel like you are part of it, and also a promise that we will also become big enough for you to get the sustenance that you need, right? I mean, if every startup claim that, oh, we're always small and you only get paid 2K, I don't, no matter how big the purpose, unless the purpose is so world changing that you are, and then we attract people who are like, okay, I don't care about salary. I just want to achieve the purpose for you or with you. I guess that's a very unique and rare case. But if not, then you will join because you feel that, okay, I can sacrifice a bit of my salary, but then eventually I will still get the success. Yeah. And then I enjoy it. Yeah. So I guess purpose is even more important for the Omega because you are trying to get people from the establishment. Yeah.
Okay. So kind of checking in on time, we are kind of in the phase where we should be wrapping up, right?
Yeah.
Imagine that now you have before you a business owner or founder who started out with very lofty ideals, very high purpose, done this for a while and has been hit with reality, right? So probably business isn't doing so well, facing some reality checks, looking at his peers, being financially way ahead of himself where he's currently standing. What would you say to such a founder who's facing that reality check?
Wait, I guess the first thing is to I will ask the founder, are you satisfied or happy with where you are? Because we are assuming that him being financially not as progressed as his peers means it's not a good thing, right? Maybe he enjoys it. Maybe he say, yeah, no, I I've never wanted to earn a lot of money and I'm actually creating a company that people truly enjoy, if that's my vision. Yeah. Or
Okay.
go. But then if he say no, actually I'm not satisfied, then I guess the next question to ask is to refine the goal. Refine the purpose or the vision lah. Like, what does the vision mean to you? Why do you have this vision? Again, like I say, a stated vision may not be the true vision, right? I give you a real example, right? One of the company that I joined, uh, I asked the entrepreneur founder this question. So I asked the founder, how do you feel when you train up like product people or consultant only to see them leaving you to join bigger company because those company can pay better, have bigger vision? How do you solve this problem, right? But to him is that I don't see that as a problem. I see my company as part of the ecosystem. And today, if I can bring in a young fresh grad or a young person and then help him to grow. And then after that, then he become good enough to join a big company, like go Grab to become product manager, go Golf Tech to become this and that. He see that as success. Okay. And I was super inspired by the answer. But the reality check for him would be same, right? 5 years down the road, your company remains small, right? Financially, maybe you're okay, right? But your company remains small. And then your people use you as a step. I mean, you can always see it negatively or use you as a stepping board to go to a company. Do you still believe in that vision? I think it's a fair question. Do you still believe in that? Because if you still believe in that, then okay, then you are very successful. If you don't believe in that, then maybe you should relook at how you run the business. I feel it's okay for an entrepreneur to sometimes realize that, yeah, actually I used to believe in that. Okay, just that my circumstances has changed. Sometimes in a most like drastic extreme way is that, yeah, I choose to remain poor lah, because I can achieve what my calling is, right? And you could find a balance, right? You don't have to remain poor, right? You could be okay. What if we change the model a bit, and then you could make some money, and then yeah. So I think everybody have to answer that question. So people who remain poor doesn't mean that they are a loser lah, or they are unsuccessful lah. They are successful in their own way, right? Yeah. I guess money cannot measure everything, or status cannot measure anything. Yeah, I think there are many people who have a lot of impact who are unknown. Yeah. I mean, along the way, sometimes you meet some entrepreneur whom the world will deem as failure, but you know that they are impacting people. Yeah. So I think everyone have to answer that question themselves. It's not for me or for us to judge. Like, hey, actually, you could have done better if you only change this, right? If he wants to change, then yeah, you can help him to change, but it's his choice lah.
Awesome. I guess that's a wrap for today. To the audience, thank you so much for listening. See you on the next podcast. Bye bye.
Like